In the last episode, I set out on an epic bikepacking adventure through Tajikistan's less visited Wakhan Valley. I'd long dreamed of visiting the region, but I never really expected to be doing it spontaneously on rented bicycles with zero bike touring experience. But I'd been deeply craving a real adventure, and so far the Wakhan had proved to be just that. Though our bikes are far from the gorgeous custom-built cycles you see long-term travelers heading through the valley with, even with one slight issue, ours have held up through some endless gravel, sand, and rocky plains of the road from Khargush to Langar, where the real wild of the Pamir was about to reveal itself. And this is where the real test begins too, as we make our way toward a place very few bikepackers, or Tajikistan travelers generally, go, the Zorkul Lake. This 14,200 feet high alpine beauty sits in a nature preserve in a protected area. We've been told over and over again that our bikes couldn't make it, that there's no one to help you out there, and that we definitely need 9 speeds to even consider going through Zorkul. So, with permits in hand from Khargush's PECTA office, and all negative warnings pushed aside, we enter the preserve and the wilderness of the Pamir. I wanted a remote adventure, and after many lovely days cycling through Wakhan villages, it was time to enter the wild for the very first time. After a few days in Langar, we are ready to hit the road to the real Wakhan wilderness, right, Farid?
Yeah, ready to go.
Heading out, first stop. Let's see how far we get, but we're trying to get to Khargush, and then eventually the Zorkul Lake. We're just seated here. Hey Farid, we've come up a crazy pass. We've come all the way from like down there where those houses are, and now we are headed over there. Bikes are just chilling. There are some animals coming. We're waiting to see them. Hi, buddies! This route is extremely hard. You agree, Farid? Yeah, so we're just taking a break here near some water after not seeing some for about 5K. And all over there is the Wakhan corridor. Iconic. And here's some shade. So it looks like we may have found a ride. I'm very worried about how this is going to work, but I guess we'll see. And now for the bit where our cycling journey turned into a hitchhiking adventure with a group of locals who were headed to Murgab from Ishkashim. While I had really wanted to do the entire route on 2 wheels, we had found that the only nearby grocery store in Langar was closed, and we did not have enough food to cycle all the way to Khargush, which would have taken 2 days alone before we even reached the Zorkul Nature Preserve's entrance, not to mention the lack of time on our visas and our limited supply of Tajik samoni. When it looked like our bikes would actually fit, I reluctantly agreed, though I quickly realized it was a miracle that we happened to find this car, squished into the front seat of an already very full Jeep. I had a fab view of the Pamirs, realizing how crazy this would have been to cycle. Minimal water and food, difficult terrain. This was definitely more than worth a squish. We've gotten this ride for the past few hours with this great hitchhiking scene, but I just wanted to point out that right there, if you kept going straight, you would hit the Brogel Valley of Upper Shachal, Pakistan, which is so crazy to me. It's probably like maybe 40 to 50 miles away only. And check out this landscape. We're having a bit of a car issue, but you know, the landscape stop is pretty amazing. We finally arrived thanks to this awesome ride in Khargush, and these military people have made this like a really iconic like hotel thing. Like we have a table, we have a Bukhari, there's even a bed, there's like a ton of mattresses. So like this is so much more comfort than we were originally expecting. Like we were just gonna put the tent in this like place full of wood and poop, right? We have made it. We've given our permits and we are officially heading towards Zorkul Lake. Y'all, it literally looks so much like the Brogil Valley. Absolutely amazing. In fact, that is literally over there, as I keep saying. So we're trying to make it to this lake today and let's see how far we go. It's quite some kilometers. And then you guys have given us this iconic bread, some milk tea, our first time seeing milk tea in Tajikistan, and then this big community of animals is all around us, and then this dog is here too. Hey! Our time in the Zorkul Nature Preserve almost immediately began with some Wahi hospitality. These shepherds were headed back to the villages after a summer spent with their herds in the preserve. The road was already providing non bread, salt milk tea, and homemade butter, yogurt. It seemed like we were off to quite the start, especially considering so many people told us there was no way we can make it here on old bikes. But that was part of what I loved about this challenge. Our gear wasn't the best, we'd never bike packed before, yet here we were in one of the most remote and least visited parts of Central Asia on our bicycles. It felt almost like a dream, a road made for cyclists. After the shepherds, we went on to see exactly no one for the rest of the day, save for some cows and goats here and there. We were now making our way at over 14,000 feet, almost as high as the highest mountain in the contiguous USA. Not bad for two bike packers who had never cycled with luggage 2 weeks prior. Woo! Yay! And now we can It's been an extremely long day. We are almost at Zorkul Lake, but we found another hut type thing for the evening, so we're going to rest here, hopefully, and see what happens tomorrow and check out the sunset. The sunset that we're experiencing here, sunsets are very rare in high altitude areas. So what a great ending to our first day here in the Zorkul Preserve. We are now going to get water. So it is the next day. Day 2 up here in the Zorkul Nature Preserve, and we are super lucky that last night we were able to find this abandoned shepherd's hut that has things on it, so we were comfortable and cozy and not freezing. Right now we are getting into the jet boil. Some food is cooking. We have all of our things kind of in a state of ready to go. Farid Bahabla.
One.
Yeah, excited to be able to get into some food.
Yeah.
And hopefully today, we're so close to the lake, guys. We're about 4 miles. So today, we're on the way to the Zorkul Lake. And right now, altitude is about 13,600 feet.
The coming process is long, you know. It's been quite some days in Wakhan now.
Yeah. So here, y'all, we have collected some scrap metal that is just out and about at this random little setup, because a lot of shepherds and herders come here because we just had an issue with, the stand. I'm just literally praying and manifesting that the stand is going to hold up. Now we have some materials to take with us, right, Farid? Yeah. So these are the first looks at the incredible Zorkul Lake. Literally, the lake is forming a border between Tajikistan and then literally right across is Afghanistan. The lake is half in each country. The Zorkul Lake is one of the most remote in all of Central Asia, along a fully off-road path that most travelers, even those with far better bicycles than us, tend to skip. At 25 kilometers or 16 miles long, it's one of the largest lakes in Tajikistan. But what drew me here, besides its remoteness of course, is Zorkul's insane geography. In fact, it may be one of the only lakes in the world that's part of two distinct national parks. The Tajik that we were riding through and the Wakhan National Park in Afghanistan that we could see rising up in the form of jagged, wild peaks across the water. On the path of the old Silk Road, explorers of centuries past used to come this way with their caravans. And in 1895, when it became the official boundary between the Russian Empire and the Emirate of Afghanistan, it was designated as an official nature preserve. So that means aside from a handful of shepherd huts, all empty given it was late September, the place was completely devoid of human settlements. An adventure travel dream for sure. So we just had some lunch, and now as y'all can see, the amazing Zorkul Lake is in the background. Now we're getting ready to hit the road again. We have 14 miles to go before it gets too dark. And in the distance, Alicia community is on the way.
You okay? Yeah.
As beautiful as our ride had been so far, bikepacking in the Pamirs is a privilege you continue to earn via various challenges. Our typically reliable Maps.me app failed just as we got to the most confusing part of the entire route. After going up and down the same grassy path multiple times, we decided to take the other one, which didn't look particularly well used. This might have been the only time in the Wakhan where I was a little bit worried, namely because we were just about out of water. While September meant having the road mostly to ourselves, it also means all the streams that are supposed to be around have dried up. I felt myself relax a little when I realized the river that led into Afghanistan was a bit far off, but still visible. So right now, we're on a bit of an off-road of the off-road because Maps.me decided to tell us the road we were on was not the main road, so we tried to find the main road, and then we came across this road, but it does have tire tracks, and we're not that far from the destination, so let's see. No idea what the sign says. The sign warned us that we were about to go Lake, which is our destination. But fortunately, we didn't end up having to take that route as we pedaled in the map's direction towards Lake Kuli Kukajit, our campsite and water source for the night.
Come on, cycle with me.
So y'all, after a very long day of cycling, we arrived at the stunning Kyrgyz Lake. Here's the tent set up. As y'all could see, cycles, everything else is in the tent. Now we're just gonna be cooking and I guess going to bed early.
Times and places are all in who you share them with. And it's life and the point in
This morning we are here at the Kyrgyz Lake. It's very beautiful, but it's very cold and windy. We need to keep moving. We're trying to reach the Jarty Gumbez village area, or hopefully we could have some encounter some people and whatnot. So it's about 16 miles. So just getting some water, and bikes are ready to go. Let's see. So we started, and this is already like a mini lake. This is undoubtedly the most amazing scenery either of us have ever seen before. I mean, y'all, it just keeps going on. The first time in Tajikistan, we have encountered a Yak community. I'm very happy. Hey, Yak community! super windy, super beautiful. Back there's like a house. I don't know if y'all can see it. We met a super nice Kyrgyz couple who gave us some amazing homemade yak yogurt, yak butter, bread, tea. It was just so much what we needed after just having like freeze-dried packaged meals. And they own all these yaks like way out there. There's like 250 yaks, and the landscape is literally unlike anything I've ever seen. So alright, onwards to Jarty Gumbez now that we're fed and ready to go in very cold temps. Had to drag the cycles from all the way down in that plateau. It was very hard. We're at 14,450 feet. Hopefully downhill from here.
Exhausted.
Yeah. If there was one day of the journey where I knew I had fallen deep and hard for bikepacking, it was this one. In the cycling world, there's nothing better than a tailwind that pushes you in the direction you're going. And as the journey took us toward Jarty Gumbez, some of the most surreal scenery and perfect weather conditions aligned for what remains to this day as the best bicycle ride of my life. Jarty Gumbez would mark the end of the Wakhan, the place where we turn towards the Pamir Highway. So a little bit bittersweet to say the least, but also unreal that we made it. I mean, regardless of what happened next, we'd actually already reached Zorkul Lake, a place even tourists in their comfy car rentals almost always skip. And to think aside from my rack feeling just a little bit squeaky, and Fareed having to utilize a little bit of emergency welding assistance, we hadn't had a single mechanical issue. The Wakhan had provided in ways I never could have imagined, but I'd soon see that our stop for the night, famous for its natural hot springs, would really give us the best farewell. So we've just arrived here into Jarty Gumbez. Once again, I went down the wrong path. This is a very small village type thing. I'm not very sure how often people stay here, but here we are. The main attraction here is the fact that there are hot springs, and that is what we are seeking over here. And then they have these absolutely beautiful wooden rooms. Keep in mind, we are literally in the middle of nowhere. And then they have this incredible little kitchen area. Super cute. We got tables, we got decor.
Oh, okay. And the whole of Upper Tajikistan.
After another amazing day of cycling, we are here at a super iconic hotel. I mean, check out the view. Way over there is a huge yak community. Here's the river. We have completed our goal of finishing up the Zorkul Wakhan Valley by cycle. All the way out here is a huge yak community. scale of reference back to the community. Love to see them. Our last morning started off perfectly. Dips in the natural hot tubs and a breakfast spread by our lovely homestay hosts. We started out cycling with another traveler, the first we'd seen in days. The landscapes morphed from the quintessential beauty of the Wakhan to something that could only be described as extra-planetary. But this day wasn't like the rest of the trip. Today was brutal, to say the least. A headwind that felt like it was 50 miles per hour drilled against us, as did the knowledge that there was no water at all until we reached Pamir Highway, which was literally hours away. Making it to the pavement wasn't easy. I fell off my bike and it looked like I'd been through a war when we finally reached it. And reach it we did, just before the sunset. Nearly 12 hours of riding behind us, and still Margab, the largest settlement in the region, was ways away. So a little bit of truck hitchhiking commenced once again. No, that was the hardest section ever. It was like 50 mile per hour winds. We just finished. 40 kilometers in the craziest winds ever. Now we have made it to the Pamir Highway. The mountains of Central Asia have given me a lot of magic over the years, but there was something really special here in the Tajik Wakhan. Maybe it was the fact that it was the first time ever that I got to live out my bikepacking dreams. In the most stunning car-free terrain, across passes and landscapes, I was sure I'd need a custom bicycle to see. But the Pamir showed us that the opposite was true. On 2 cheap rented cycles, with very minimal knowledge about repairs, we managed to traverse the more than 250 miles from Khargush through the Wakhan Valley and onto the Zorkul Nature Preserve, and somehow not a single flat tire. This journey into a region I'd been dreaming about for so long taught me, or maybe reaffirmed, what I already knew. You may not have your ideal gear, and the timing may not always be the best, but if you find yourself standing face to face with a long-standing dream, go after it anyway. It might just be the very best decision you ever make.
Times better, like, wow.